So again, I hadn't started doing that seriously until probably about 5 years ago. Um, a group of friends. I'd moved to a new area. I was living in North Carolina in the States, and had moved to Arizona. And when I moved here, I got to know some good friends. I got to meet some new people, and developed a friendship with a group of guys that had very similar interests to me. We actually started meeting on a weekly basis to kind of just talk about stuff because we wanted to make something. And honestly, it wasn't even necessarily board games at that time. Eventually, we realized we all had a genuine interest in that, and so that's where it went. But eventually, most or half of the group moved away or had other responsibilities, and so me and another guy, a good friend, Michael Patience, and we partnered together to work on Plane Crafters. That was the first game that I designed, co-designed with him, and so that was a long process. We didn't know really how to do that, how it worked, but we spent probably 3 years in development on Plane Crafters, more than 3 years probably, where we just sit in my office once a week and play with ideas and play test and the typical thing. Research. We would always be on Jamie Stegmaier's blog, reviewing best practices of things for game design and making games. And but then that shortly before Plane Crafters went to Kickstarter, I connected with a good friend of mine, David Somerville, who made Vast. And we had been friends for many, many years. And anyway, he had some needs for some art help with a project he was working on called Lightning and Bolt. And we worked together on that, and actually launched that before Plane Crafters on Kickstarter. And there's possibly some more things going on with that in the future, because the Lightning and Bolt, when we released it, it was a Make 100 project for Kickstarter, so we only made 100 copies of the game. But we are considering a much wider release of that, with a much nicer production of it, and with some revamps of some things and art and other things, and so that's possibly in the works. But then since then it's kind of from on my own personal side. I have a few big projects on the horizon, and that are my own design and my own, where I will be doing everything, the design and the art, on my own. Definitely some more things to come. So it's if hopefully people will keep an eyes open, ears out, something for what I'm doing this year.
But why planes for plane crafters?
Sure. Well, that's primarily my partner's doing. The original concept for the game was his. He asked his daughter. This is while we had been working on a variety of different ideas. We developed something for a little while and realized that it wasn't really fun. So we threw it away, and he asked his daughter, what would if I could make a game for you, what would you want it to be about? And she said making planes. And that wasn't necessarily because she was a huge plane person, but she knew her dad was. So Mike, my partner, is a very big plane enthusiast, and so we were playing with that. Originally, the Plane Crafters was very realistic. The planes were real planes, and we were mixing up, real plane parts. But we realized that was going to be less interesting and we preferred to take it towards a more fantasy aviation world, and we did. But yeah, I mean, I love planes, but that was definitely his direction for that, or initially.